Hey, hey, hey. What's up, fam? It's Tuesdays with Tawana. Yes, Rev T. Tawana is in the building, your host and curator for Tuesdays with Tawana, a weekly Facebook Live, weekly podcast, building community one episode at a time. So grateful to be alive, to be able to breathe in this space, to be able to be with community. What's up, Cordio, my little buttercup pumpkin? What's up? So, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, just please know that you'll hear me shout some people out because we are on Facebook Live. We do this recording live and I shout everybody out in the comments. I insert their comments into this narrative because I don't particularly want to talk for a half an hour all by myself, but you know I will if I have to. But I love to incorporate other thoughts, other views, other feelings, and really get a pulse of what's going on with you and what's going on in your world. So, this is a place for us to engage, a place for us to connect across the country in ways that we may not quite be used to because, coronavirus has us on limited movement and other things that are going on in the world. So, yeah, these other things that are happening in the world, we going to talk a little bit about today. We going to talk about it today. Yeah, so for today, so listen, feel free to comment. Let me know you're in the building. If you want to just chill and just listen, you might be at work and you want to just listen in and feel the vibes or whatever, just feel free and do that. Not a problem. I love having you here. I love that you rock with me on Tuesdays for 30 minutes just so we can holler at each other. So let's get started. So, last season, last season, I would come on to Tuesdays with Tawana and, just feel the energy and we would just chop it up. Right. And this season, I decided to just take it a little step further and do some themes. Something that I might be feeling during the week, something that is welling in my soul, something that I feel that is going on that we need to talk about in community. So so today our theme is who in the hell left the gate open. Now, I might be dating myself a bit, but the comedian Michael Collier, um, I love him. I'm not a huge fan. Like I don't follow everything that he does, but I love what he does when he does it. He's a funny dude, just smooth and suave, and I just love it. And back in the day, probably during like Bad Boys, a comedy or whatever, he did a segment or a skit and he talked about who in the hell left the gate open. And all week last week, that his voice is very unique, and it just kept ringing in my mind and in my spirit. And I said, okay, this has got to mean something. We got to do something with this, right? So when I asked myself the question, I actually had an answer. Who in the hell left the gate open? So the first question is, what gate are we talking about, beloved? Right? And many people have used this phrase. This is not just coined by Michael Collier. Um, Umar Johnson used it. Other Baptist preachers have used it in their sermons. There's jokes that go along with it or whatever. We're going to move all of that out of our minds, out of our psyche, and we just going to talk about this moment. Who in the hell left the gate open? What gate am I talking about? Let's talk about the gate of dehumanization, this gate of hate, this gate of selfishness, this gate of capitalism, this gate of profit over people. Who in the hell left the gate open for all of this to just come flooding in at one time? Stuff that I just can't even believe that we are going through. Horses with white men on top of them with whips or something in their hands, trampling and beating my black beloveds from Haiti because they want to flee to safety because their home, many of their homes and their land is in ruins, not only because of the recent earthquake that happened, but because their president was assassinated. And now you have the coronavirus. And if I'm not mistaken, there's somewhere that says that they are the lowest in inoculations. And you wonder why they want to escape. Our history has shown that when people flee from their homes, they are fleeing from some sort of turmoil. They're fleeing from some sort of challenges. They're fleeing from something that is threatening their lives. So we are opening the doors of this land to about 90,000, and correct me if I'm wrong with the numbers, but about 90,000 people from Afghanistan, which I love. My brown beloveds, they need a place to go because of the tyranny that's going on in their country. So you're going to tell me that we can't make provision to receive thousands of people from Haiti who are seeking refuge, who are seeking a roof over their heads, who are seeking safety, who are seeking to be out of harm's way. And that is even harm's way, because coming here doesn't necessarily mean that we as the Black diaspora is safe, because last I checked, we can't run while Black or walk while Black or drive while Black or sleep while Black or play the violin while Black or play in a supermarket while Black or walk from a store with Arizona and Skittles while Black. Who in the hell left the gate open? The gate open to this past abyss where back then, if you line up what was happening during slavery and what's happening now at the Texas border, they almost look identical. Men on horses chasing enslaved people, and now white men on horses chasing people who are trying to seek refuge and asylum. It looks the same. How are we allowing history to repeat itself when the floodgates of information is open and pushed to us and available at the click of a button? But I'm sorry, but I guess it depends on who you listen to and what you're watching. Because if you're watching the pundits on Fox or wherever, and they're justifying this, you just might be foolish enough to believe it. If you listen to the leadership in Texas, you just might be naive enough to believe it. And I'm here to tell you, beloved, I don't know who, it's not one person, it's a people that left the gate open for all of this to happen. But just like the gate was open for this dehumanization to happen, for this undignified treatment, this gentrification, this lack of education, lack of health care, lack of equal pay. The list goes on and on and on. Just like it was open, if we stand up together and fight together, it can be closed, shut down, and we can make something anew. Hey, my beloved brother. So good to see you, Larry. We can make anew. I was watching The View this morning, and Whoopi was just livid by what's happening at the Texas border with our Haitian beloveds, right? And then she must have received an update or a note or something, and she read it, and she said that the administration, I guess whoever that is, the administration were thinking of were and I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember the quote, but they're working on getting down to Texas to try to work out some solutions. Oh, I want to just use the F word so bad. I'm so angry. So, one, they weren't going to do that. They were just going to send everybody back to Haiti until people started making noise and pushing back. And now they're going to try to remedy the situation. But I'm sorry. Unless you're going there to let them know that they can cross the border and they can seek refuge here and they can be inoculated here so that they can live and not die at the hands of systemic racism through the vaccines or the lack thereof. I'm not trying to hear it. I don't want your photo op. I need you to go down and do what America is supposed to do. Langston Hughes said it perfectly. Make America again, not make America great again, because damn, we ain't never been great. We ain't never been great. Hey, Tammy, what's going on, my beautiful niece? What's up, Quante? The good reverend in the building. She said, we ain't trying to hear it. A whole bunch of exclamation points. Yes. We ain't trying to hear it. We don't want your photo ops. We don't want you posing, with the little kids who are hungry. What you doing in Tigray? What are you doing there? They're going into over a year of dealing with heinous murders and burning down houses and stores and schools. They have nowhere to go. And they just released pictures of babies who are starving and there's no medical help because the people who are in charge will not let the people who have the medical supplies come in. America, what are we doing? What are we doing? It's more of us than it is of them. It's more of us. And we have a communal prowess. We have this divine prowess about us. We have this collective spirit about us. Now, let me back up for a minute. So let's talk about this word monolith. Like everything is the same, identical, one type, right? So all Black people are not the same. That's what makes us this beautiful mosaic, because every piece plays its part to bring forth this beautiful mosaic, right? All white people aren't the same. Yet there is some commonality there where they still benefit from our Black bodies and our Black labor. They still benefit from the power and control of the 1% that helps them pay less taxes than what I pay. I'm quite sure I pay more taxes than the former person who was in charge of the United States, of this United States of America. So as long as you're silent, you're complicit. And as long as you're complicit, you're going to benefit. And as long as you benefit, somebody else is not going to benefit. And as long as somebody else doesn't benefit, that means that they are being they're being oppressed and marginalized, just like we have been historically oppressed and marginalized. Who in the hell left the gate open? All of this flooding at us at one time. We can't even get vaccinations together. We want to attribute the right to getting a vaccination, but yet want to tell women what to do with their bodies. The two don't go together. Make up your mind what the fuck you want to do and what you thinking. Make up your mind. You either pro-life or you not. You either for freedom of speech or you not. Help me. This is where I need my girl Utsi on the line. Kevin Hart has a special. I don't know which special it's from, and I'm not going to use the N word because we're in mixed company. But Kevin Hart goes, "Help me, nigga, help me." to understand what is going on here. Help me. So, okay. So many of you know I'm finishing up my dissertation. I am on chapter 5, which is the last chapter. I will defend the end of October. I will share the exact date and time at a later date, just not right now, because I'm too angry and I want to do it in a celebratory way. Yes. Um, so I'm writing chapter 5, and the oh, thank you, Cordio. Appreciate it. We getting our PhD, because I tell y'all some praying folk. The prayers, the love, the energy, the light, all that. I feel it. There are times when I don't feel like writing, and all of a sudden I'll just feel this burst just come forth. And I'll be like, yeah, somebody praying for me for sure. For sure, for sure. And I'm thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate y'all, my village and my tribe. So I'm writing chapter 5, and I'm doing a methodology called interpretive phenomenological analysis. And it basically studies the experience of a phenomenon. So, what did someone experience during this said moment, this said thing, this said class, this said event, this whatever, that phenomenon, right? So, I'm studying the experience. That's phenomenology. But what's different about interpretive phenomenological analysis is I, as a Black woman, as the researcher, right? I get to interpret what the people have experienced, and I get to make meaning of how they are making meaning of their experience. Let me say that again. So they're trying to make meaning of their experience in interpretive phenomenological analysis. I, as the researcher, I'm like watching them make meaning, and I am making meaning of them making meaning, which sounds kind of crazy, because it is. But it makes sense when we're talking about a Black woman who is studying a group of white people who have experienced soul to souls facing racism experience. And I get to really listen to their experience. How did it feel when we talked about white supremacy culture, perfectionism, you are the mistake, power hoarding, paternalism? The list goes on and on and on. How did you feel when we called out that whiteness, right? When I think of culture for Black people, I think of beauty. Are we perfect? No, but beauty, we are, right? So when I think of culture, I think of our expression. I think of our music. I think of our dress. I think of our food. I think of our communities. I think of collective work and responsibility. I think of purpose. I think of hope. I think of peace. I think of all these things when I think about Black culture. I think about humor. I think about creativity and more creativity, right? So, how did it feel when white people are experiencing this culture that ain't so great? Like all of those tenets that are listed in white supremacy culture, we all have a bit of that. Like some of us are perfectionists, others see things their way, and their way is the right way. But the difference is it's not collective and it doesn't oppress a non white person or other people. So, it becomes a culture when it begins to impact other people and other cultures. So white supremacy culture ain't so pretty. And we know this. Well, I know this as a Black woman who has done some semblance of work on Black history. I wouldn't consider myself a historian, but I definitely know more than what schools have taught us about slavery, about being enslaved, about the rape and genocide, about monetizing our bodies, beating us, killing us, maiming us. We went from being abolitionists fighting for our freedom to trying to work the feminist movement that didn't work for us. And then we became black feminists to fight for our rights. And then womanism came along that trumped them all and was like, hey, we're here. We are beautiful. We're big. We're bold. We're funny. We cry. We laugh. We have joy. And we trying to take everybody with us. But we're going to center us as black women, as black people, as the black diaspora. Because we're not going to wait. Who are we waiting for? We are the ones we are waiting for to make this happen. So when I ask, hey, Mama Helen, good to see you. Yes, Tammy, what you said. Thank you for the explanation. This makes sense. Oh, sorry. My comment words are in black, so I can't highlight your comment. But thank you. Yes. So with all of that, when I think of culture, I think of the greatness that we have, right? So when I was sitting down and I'm writing chapter 5, and I'm like, how can, if people are stuck in this white culture, how can they make meaning for somebody else, a black woman or the black diaspora, when they can't even make meaning, true meaning for themselves? You can't give what you don't have. You can't pour from an empty cup. So if you don't know of community, you can't be community. If you don't know love, if you don't have love, you can't give it. Yes, it's unconditional. Yes, it's available to all, but not everybody takes it. Not everybody lives it. Not everybody understands it. Not everybody embraces it. Not everybody has the same definition, especially when you're rooted in oppression, marginalization, capitalism, and all the other things, and all the other isms, right? So when we talk about this gate being open, and all of this negativity, all of this dehumanization coming at us, what are we going to do, beloveds? My charge to you today is that we don't have to put up with it. We are beautiful, brilliant, amazing human beings that do not have to put up with the dehumanization that is happening across this country. The double standard that has been happening. And I'll just use black and white. We know there's other groups, cultural groups, but for brevity, we're going to use black and white. And we have definitely been brought up very differently within those two cultures. So now, because we know better, we can do better, right? And we can obliterate anti-black racism. We can obliterate the lack of an excellent education for our children. We don't have to deal with that lack because we already got what we need. We are the ones we have been waiting for. So now we're going to shift this narrative on who in the hell left the gate open. I opened the damn gate. I opened it because I'm brave and brazen enough to face whatever comes through that gate. And you dare try to dehumanize me and my children and my people and my community and my culture, I go vote. I create the job that I want. I create the school that I want. I create the living conditions that I want. I create the environments that I want to live in. Because we are just too good to wait for somebody else to do it for us. What? Our beloveds in Haiti, our beloveds in Tigray. Hey, Delisha. Wow. Amen. Good to see you. Our beloveds right here in America, where a woman doesn't have a choice of what to do with her own body. But yet, it's against some sort of human right to ask someone to wear a mask so that I don't die because you decided not to wear a mask. I am immune compromised. I was eligible for the booster. I got it. Do I trust it all? Absolutely not. But this is what I know. This is what I got. This is the research that I've done. And this is the best that I can do to live and not die at the hands of systemic racism and systemic ills. It's the best I can do. This is what I got. So I'm fully vaccinated and I have a booster and I still don't go out all the time. Because you still have people walking around without masks, people who are still walking around who are not vaccinated. Now, let me say this. Let me make this very, very clear as we have 4 more minutes. I don't have an issue with you exercising your right not to be vaccinated. What I do have issue with is when you expect not to be vaccinated and you expect to go back to business as usual and impacting the lives of hundreds and thousands of people. You infect one, you infect many. We're talking about family members that are dying, who are losing parents and grandparents and children and siblings and best friends, church members, because you didn't want to get vaccinated. If you don't want to get vaccinated, for whatever reason, you just have to follow the protocols to keep everybody safe. But I'm sorry, that means you have to care, white people. That means you have to care. And I need you to care. That's what I need. Closed mouth doesn't get fed, right? That's what I need. I need you to care. And to wear that mask for the few moments that you're outside or, going to the store or whatever. Think about the doctors and nurses and people that are frontline workers that wear the mask 12 to 18 hours a day. Some nurses are choosing not to be nurses because they don't want to be vaccinated, so they're going to go find another job. No, let me do the slow clap. Good for you. It's not good for us because there's a shortage of nurses, but not for nothing. I don't need you in the health care field infecting people that you're supposed to be caring for. And then you go home to your family and you infect the people who are there. Because it's not like there's something that green shows up that says, oh, I have the coronavirus, let me go ahead and quarantine. Sometimes it shows that there's no symptoms. It's asymptomatic, right? Oh, thank you, Delisha. Thank you for inspiration and encouragement today. You're speaking truth to power. That means a lot coming from you, powerhouse woman, my queen. Thank you. Hey, Brother Donald. Good to see you. Yes. Tamika says, what happened to love my neighbor? That might be for next week. Because we're going to talk about, what happened to love thy neighbor as thyself. But if you don't love yourself, how can you love your neighbor? So when I ask the question, who in the hell left the gate open? It's the wrong people. It's the people who are oppressors, the people who are capitalists, the people who are selfish, the people who only are concerned about themselves, thinking that somebody's going to come here and want their funky jobs. Nobody wants your job. They're taking the jobs that they need to survive and to feed their families, and you're hating on that? Really? Who in the hell left the gate open? It's the wrong people. So we got to step up and we got to control the gate. We got to be the gatekeepers. I'd rather be a doorkeeper, right? Be there to greet, to smile, to show love, to spread love, because that's contagious. That's what we do. And then love shows up in honoring somebody else. Even if I don't want to get vaccinated, I wear a mask and I wash my hands and I'm very careful and I give you your 6 feet. But these are my personal beliefs. I get it. But then don't turn around and tell me what I can and cannot do with my body, regardless of your personal beliefs. You have no right to tell me what I can and cannot do with my body. And abortion is not the only thing that we do with our bodies. Can we stop that? It's a part of it. It's a big decision around this, right to our bodies and what we do and the decisions that we make. But we make a lot of decisions. Like when y'all sitting in the drive-thru in McDonald's, make a lot of decisions. Ain't nobody talking to you about the stuff that you put in your body, and you worried about a vaccination. Send your kids to private school if you don't want them vaccinated. Homeschool them. Do your thing. Just don't bring them around me and mine, because I want to live. I want to live, and I want you to live. Each one of you. I love you, and I want you to live and not die, mind, body, or spirit, at the hands of systemic racism and systemic ills. I want you to live and live life more abundantly. I want you to have a joy, the joy that the world didn't give and the world can't take away. I want you to live. It'll be 5 years since my diagnosis of HER2 metastatic breast cancer. It'll be 5 years, November 6th, on the day that I graduate. You can't tell me that God ain't up to something. So because God is up to something in my life, I am sure I'll put everything on it that God is up to something in yours. Be encouraged, be faithful, speak up, speak out, use your voice, use your agency and your capacity, because you are a dope soul housed in this body. Let your soul speak. Let your soul speak out so that we can build for our own communities and not wait for someone on a horse to drive us in the direction that they feel they need to drive us to. I love you. Thank you for rocking with Tuesdays with Tawana. This will be available on my page, Tuesdays with Tawana. It'll be available on podcasts, on Apple, on Anchor, on Spotify. Share, 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 share. I don't do this for me. I do this for us. Now, a part of it is selfish because I love my community and I love chopping it up with y'all. I love seeing the comments. I love reading the comments. I love inserting it into the narrative. And I also love being alive and just breathing this breath with you, this divine breath that the world didn't give and the world is trying to take away, but we ain't gonna let it, beloved. We're not gonna let it. I love y'all to the moon and beyond. I'm out. Peace.